And we are live with another episode of the Keeg Talks. This is season 11, episode 5 of the Keeg Talks, and today, the Keeg Talks Thunderbolts asterisk. I'm your host, Dimithri Perera. If you're watching us live, you're watching us on youtube.com/The Keeg Show or twitch.tv/The Keeg Show, or maybe you're listening to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. But no matter where you are and what you're watching us on, like, comment, subscribe, follow, write a review. Let us know you're out there. If you want to hop in the chat, feel free to hop in the chat and let us know what you thought about the newest Marvel movie, Thunderbolts. It's not just me talking. If you're watching us live, you could see who our guests are, but if you're listening to the podcast, I gotta introduce them. First up, we got Ted, aka Ted the Toy Collector. Ted, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you having me on again.
Yeah.
Or for the first time, unofficially, right?
Yeah, technically, the hardcore fans out there, they may know you from your short stint on the Transformers 1 episode that we didn't end up releasing because it got messed up, but that wasn't your fault. So I'm glad that you're back here to talk Thunderbolts.
Yep.
Is it weird though that Ted starts with a T, Transformers 1 starts with a T, Thunderbolts starts with a T? I'm bringing you to, what's the T?
That means you just know when you're supposed to have me on, man. That's it. Any T related content, hit up Ted.
I makes me wonder, what is the next movie that comes out that starts with a T?
I'll tell you what. I'll let you know. That way we can have, we'll have a show about it.
Okay, it's just an ongoing bit that people out there are like, I don't get it, but okay. But Ted, glad to have you on. Also, returning guest. It's been a while because Stranger Things has yet to produce a new season. We got Cierra, aka Quirky Kristen. Cierra, how's it going?
I'm doing great.
I'm glad to have you back. Are you dying for a new Stranger Things season?
I've been waiting so long.
The kids.
I'm not sure how accurate this is, but they said that they're going to be releasing a trailer May 31st when they do To Doom, right?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
I hope that's accurate. I hope that.
When it comes to Stranger Things, I'm just like, I'll be here when it comes around. Let me know when it starts. I'll watch it when it comes out. But these kids are growing beards. These kids are having kids. Does Millie Bobby Brown have a kid yet?
No,
I don't think so. I don't think so. But I mean, she's married now, so.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
And we're old.
Yeah. To John Bon Jovi's son, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that weird? Everybody has 3 names in that whole. I don't know what. I don't know what his kid is named, but regardless, we're not here to talk about all that. What we are here to talk about, though, is the newest Marvel movie, the new MCU movie, and that is Thunderbolts. Technically, Thunderbolts is the first of a new series in a way. I don't want to spoil it just as of yet because we're going to talk about what the asterisk meant. But all these characters, for the most part, have roughly been in other movies. I guess first question is, was there a character in this Thunderbolts lineup that you didn't see in a previous movie? You didn't catch Black Widow for Yelena or whatnot? Are you guys pretty well versed in all these characters?
Yeah. Except for the newest character, which was Sentry, but he wasn't in another movie. But everyone else up to date with.
Yeah, familiar with everybody for the most part. I think I've seen all the content with all the characters.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen all the MCU movies and all the Disney Plus shows and all that? Because now it's getting tough.
I've seen all the movies, but as for the shows, no. I still have to watch Daredevil.
Okay.
I still have to watch the other Daredevil, and I still have to watch previous things that were before it started getting into the Marvel stuff, Agent Shield and all that. I haven't watched that yet, but
okay.
Yeah, so I think you and I might be on the same page, Cierra. So I've seen everything for the most part. I think I've skipped out on. I've started watching a few things and just completely tuned out of it. What was it? Secret Wars or
Secret Invasion?
Yeah, Secret Invasion.
That was bad.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, and I was trying. I was 3 episodes in, and I was like, I don't think I like this.
You guys didn't like that show?
Secret Invasion?
Yeah.
Nah, I didn't.
I'm normally positive about a lot. Like even when people say like the MCU is like running out of ideas, I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I don't
Whatever.
think that's the case.
But like Secret Invasion was the first of the shows that made me think this was written by AI.
Wow, I didn't
Yeah,
think that way.
I was like,
really?
there's something fake, especially the last episode. The last episode, I was just like, none of it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like that. Like they were saying that. Goodness, his name, Rhodey.
Rhodey?
Yeah.
Yeah, that they were saying that he wasn't a part of Endgame, right? Or Infinity War.
They're trying to figure out like when was he taken by the Skrulls.
I don't believe that because
Yeah.
that didn't make any sense. But as for like the show, I was actually entertained.
Yeah.
I watched it all.
I feel that way about Agatha. Like I saw a lot of like really harsh commentary online about Agatha, and I was like, oh, I thought it was fine. And like
Yeah.
for what it was, like the show was what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how I feel about a lot of Marvel content nowadays. I'm like, okay, even if it's not for me, they made it for the audience it was supposed to appeal to. And I feel like that's where a lot of the pushback from a lot of people comes from. You know, it's like people can't accept that everything isn't for everybody.
That's a big thing. People who want just the same thing over and over again. But like when WandaVision came out, some people were like, this is weird. This isn't like, and it's like, yeah, because it's not for you. But how many new people did it bring in?
Yeah,
like
me for sure. Me for sure, because I did not give a damn about how loose are we with curse words.
You can do whatever you want.
No, okay. All right. I didn't give a fuck about Wanda and Vision.
Yeah.
But WandaVision did it for me. It really brought me in.
Yeah. I also liked Agatha. So like
Yeah, that was a great show.
It was interesting because I mean the way it worked in the real world was kind of funny the way it worked in the Marvel world. But like we got Infinity War, we got Endgame, and then we got the pandemic, which meant like we couldn't follow up on Marvel stuff. Marvel stuff got delayed a year. There was like a year without Marvel. And then 2021 is when it picked back up again with WandaVision. And some things were like a little bit different. And we still didn't get a movie. I don't know until when. But everything just got delayed. And it was almost like we got blipped.
Was it damn, I haven't heard anybody put it that way, but that's really cool. I'm gonna take that from you. But is that what was the next movie? Doctor Strange 2?
Might have been Black Widow.
It may have been Black Widow.
I think it was Black Widow because Black Widow was
Eternals.
I think.
Oh.
Or no, wait.
I think it was Black Widow then Shang-Chi, or Shang-Chi then Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
But because there was that whole problem with like Scarlett Johansson was like, you're gonna not put it in theaters. Like Disney Plus wanted to put Black Widow on Disney Plus and not in theaters, and she was like, "Do I get money then?" And they're like, "Well, and it's like, don't me. This is my contract." I don't blame her.
Yeah,
I don't blame her. They like Tom Cruise. They tried to do the same thing for Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible, and Tom Cruise was like, "No," and they're like, "Okay, we'll wait." I think the big stuff that this stuff comes out, like Thunderbolts plot lines come out of, is Black Widow. Ghost is from Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I didn't know that.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier leads into like, you know, a lot of these characters come out of that.
John Walker.
Yeah. And then Bob is completely new. So, you know, it is what it is. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, just generally speaking, like, what is your score for this movie, for Thunderbolts, out of 10? And you could use decimal points. Some people abuse that, but do what you need to do. Whatever makes you feel comfortable with your score. Because I tried rating this on Letterboxd, and I didn't feel comfortable with any of the stars, because it's out of 5. And like, I was like, I don't feel comfortable with what I'm given. But out of 10, I mean, I'll open it up. For me, overall, it was like an 8.5. I feel like if I put it as an 8, is it too low? It's definitely not a 9 for me. Like an 8.5 is probably the thing. I saw it twice. I got to see it twice and try to like see new things from it the second time around.
Did you?
Not in the way that I wanted to. There's not like Easter eggs and like rando. There's not too many Easter eggs and like rando things in there, which is to the benefit of the movie, I think. But I would say it's an 8.5. I think that this was a better movie than it was a superhero movie, but it also finally moved the MCU forward with a like direction that I think like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
We're finally like, we know where we're going instead of spinning our wheels. For a long time, the MCU was spinning its wheels. That's what I say. 8.5.
Okay. I'm gonna say, because I mean, I really did enjoy this movie, but I'm gonna say, aside from, just giving it like the regular 10 out of 10, I'll say 9 out of 10. Like, I mean, there was some dull moments for me, but overall, the movie and the messages that they were able to get across, loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would damn, hate being the negative person here.
It's all right.
And I don't feel like I am.
It's
but I think I would give it a 7.5. I think the first number that popped into my head whenever I finished watching the movie, and I enjoyed it, but the first number that popped into my head was 7. And then after I slept on it and I thought about it a little bit more, I was like, man, okay, I think I enjoyed it a little bit more than I'm giving the movie credit for it. And I really enjoyed a lot of the performances in it. We can dive into why, but I think 7.5 is where this movie landed at for me.
Yeah. Here's a question. Do you ever leave a movie being like, I just wasted time? Like, it would have been better not having seen the movie at all?
Yeah. And I feel like the thing that's kept me out of theaters is that I felt that way about movies a little bit too often lately, right? So I'm just like, man, it's rare that a movie has hit me and I'm like, man, I'm very glad that I went and saw this in theaters. Sinners is the last movie that I felt that way about.
Yeah.
And this movie, I don't know if I needed to see it in theaters. If I would have saw it on a streaming service, I feel like I would have been like, yep, like that was cool, But I feel like I go to the theaters for an experience nowadays, and whereas like I just watch movies, and maybe I'm desensitized to movies now because streaming services have so many of them. Like I watch one almost every other day, but this just felt like another movie.
Yeah. I get that. I think that there's a bar from movies where it's like I feel like I've wasted my time, and then there's a bar where I feel like I've wasted my money. But now since I have AMC A-List, and I wish this show was paid for by AMC A-List, that's a goal. But I think there's a bar for like, did I waste my money? But I don't I wasted my money, but I don't feel I wasted my time, or I did waste my time, and that's just like that's the worst. And then there's a bar for like, did I like it? So I liked the movie, so it cleared that bar, and I don't feel like I wasted time or money. But like, there are movies where I'm like, I wasted it all. But this was not the case.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'd say I like this movie, was not a waste of time, and I don't think I wasted my money.
Yeah. Cierra, do you tend to like most movies? I tend to like most movies. I tend to
Yeah, I do, because like, if I watch the trailer and I feel something from the trailer, then I'm gonna want to see it in the theaters. But then there would be some times where I say I want to see it in theaters, but maybe there's something going on that I can't. And then when I get to watching it on streaming, I'm like, I'm glad I didn't see it in theaters. Like one movie, so I love Chris Evans.
Yeah.
And I would watch any of his movies, but I'm very glad I didn't see Red One in theaters because that movie was not the best.
Yeah. I was lucky. I got invited to a screening for Red One, and I brought my mom because my mom used to love The Rock, but now she doesn't really like The Rock, but she loves Chris Evans now, and like she says like, oh, it's my future stepdad, right? So like, cool. Like that's like my mom loves Chris Evans now, and so I've been showing her more Chris Evans movies just so she can be cool with that. So I took her to Red One. We didn't have to pay for it. I don't remember like almost anything about the movie. So if I paid money, I would have disliked it even more.
Yeah.
Same goes with, I saw last night, I was watching it with my girlfriend. I watched Another Simple Favor. which is a sequel to Simple Favor with Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively. And the first movie didn't stand out much to me, but like we watched the second movie. It was free. It was on TV. If I paid money for it, I would have hated it.
Like you just like there's some movies that you just know like this is not meant to be in theaters.
Yeah.
You'll catch it when you catch it.
Right.
If you do.
Yeah.
I liked Thunderbolts, so I didn't think it was a waste of any of that stuff. But I like the fact that, like, yeah, we're varying on how well we liked it. The way that I came out of this movie is that, like, there's, like, judging it like a movie, judging it like an MCU installment, and judging it as, like, a superhero movie. And I think the weakest was a superhero movie. Like, I feel like there wasn't as big enough set pieces for me to be, like, seeing people, like, duke it out. But it wasn't about that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think one of the biggest complaints that I have about the movie is that there were hardly... did he freeze?
No, or is that... I mean, I'm still here.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, but yeah, I think the biggest issue that I had, like, there weren't very many fights, you know? And, like, I come for the, you know, the superhero movies and stuff like this, for the big fight scenes, for the big dramatics and stuff like that. And I think, you know, even with Sentry, right? It's like, I don't feel like we got to see a bunch of his abilities. Like, we got to see it a little bit. And when we did, it was cool, but, you know, we didn't get much of it. And like, that was the whole superhero element, right? I don't know. I could have used more.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I mean, the one almost tease is when they got their asses kicked. And it was like, cool. And then that was it.
Yeah, and then that was it. And then, like, I don't know, like, I think the thing that really hit me with this movie is, like, man, the things that they did well, they did really well. But because they did it so well, I think it made the things that I don't think they did well stand out even more. So, like, I think about that scene where Bucky shows up and saves the team and stuff like that, bro. And he, like, pulls up on the motorcycle, shooting people down, and then he jumps off the motorcycle and, like, you know, the car comes and he, like, flips the car with his arm. Like it's just, like, this really cool scene. And I'm just like, man, I want more of that in this movie, you know? And, like, if every character had gotten that moment, I feel like I wouldn't even be as upset. But I feel like everybody didn't really get a chance to look as cool as they could have. I don't think John Walker really got a chance to, like, shine in this movie. I don't think Ghost got a chance to be as cool as she could have been. She came off as, like, an afterthought at times, but I think it really came off as, like, Florence Pugh's movie, which was fine because she did an amazing job. But, like, that's also how it felt. It didn't feel like a team up movie. It felt like her movie, and, like, them niggas just happened to be there.
I can see that. Like, it's like from her perspective almost, right?
Yeah.
She was clearly the standout. Was there anyone else you thought, like, stood out other than, like, can we all agree, like, Florence Pugh was the standout? Or is there an argument there?
No. I mean, she is the one that's in the middle on the cereal box.
Yeah.
Who else, like, stood out? Because I think Bob.
Yeah.
I
really enjoy his character now.
Yeah, that's my only other one. I left the movie, I was like, yep, Yelena and Bob.
Yeah. You know he's Bill Pullman's son?
I just found that out. I can't believe that. I mean, he looks exactly like him, but
just like him.
That's crazy.
Ted, you know Bill Pullman?
Nope.
Do you ever see Independence Day? Will Smith, Jeff Goldblum, Independence Day?
Man, no, I haven't. Hold on, but, you know, and listen, I hate to be like this, but I almost, like, exclusively know white actors through, like, their faces. So let me look this guy up real quick. Because I probably
Bill
do.
Pullman, not to be confused with Bill Paxton. Different Bill, same time period, the 90s. Bill Pullman plays the president of the United States in Independence Day. So he's the one who has that huge monologue about, like, we will not go into the dark of the night or something like that.
You see, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know. That's not the movie that I know him from.
What do you know him from?
It's from While You Were Sleeping. That's the movie that I know him from.
I don't know that movie.
That is a great movie.
Wow. Now, I think this is crazy, but I think I know him from Scary Movie 4. Which is...
Is he?
I'm pretty sure he was in Scary Movie 4.
Oh,
Fact check. I could be wrong. Fact check me on that. But if I know this man from anything, it's from that.
What, did you ever see Casper? Did you ever see the Casper movie?
Maybe whenever I was a kid.
Oh yeah, he was in Scary Movie 4. Yeah.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, whichever one Anthony Anderson was in, whichever one Shaq was in, that's the one he was in.
That's funny. He's also in the Equalizer 2. I didn't see that one, but then he passed recently. So.
Oh,
wait, what?
wow.
I think did it or no? Was it? Am I getting?
You tried to kill him all?
No, he didn't pass. Damn. I'm getting him confused with Bill Paxton. I'm getting him confused with Bill Paxton now because you get Paxton and Pullman mixed up. Okay, so I guess he didn't pass. Bill Paxton, he was in. Oh, he's in Twister, the first one. Bill Paxton.
Oh, yeah.
It's that guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he died in 2017.
Yeah. So anyway, Lewis Pullman is his son.
Yeah, they do look alike.
Yeah. He was also Lewis Pullman's also in Top Gun Maverick, also playing a character named Bob.
Oh wow.
So supposedly news sources are saying that when Lewis Pullman was cast in this movie, he asked, "Can we change his name, not Bob? Like, can we change it from Bob to something?" And they're like, "No, you can't." He's like, "It's the same name twice." But all right, that's fine. What did you guys like Alexei?
Yeah, I love him.
Red Guardian.
He's so funny.
Yeah, I think it was just enough for it like not to be annoying.
Yeah, because he was kind of annoying in Black Widow. Like to me.
Well, no, I mean I still like him in that too.
I liked him, but you know.
Yeah, I think it's like his character. I was fine with it because I'm like, okay, you are the comedic relief character. Like he was, he's like Korg in in the Thor movies, you know. So I'm like, that's like, kids watch these movies too. I'm fine with that. Joke around as much as you want. If anything, it was everybody else making jokes that kind of just like that. I was just like, yeah, but he was fine.
Interesting. Yeah. Let's talk about some of the characters that didn't quite live up to everything. You guys want to talk John Walker? Because I absolutely hate John Walker.
Oh.
Like, I like him. I like him. He does a good job, but I hate him. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've hated him since Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Understandable.
For sure. Yeah.
So what makes you hate him?
Well, first thing, I've hated him since not only the start of Falcon and Winter Soldier, but also like the final episode of that show where they're just like, all right, you're cool. You saved like a car from falling off a bridge or something. You're cool. And it's like, he just like murdered a guy on like, I guess TV. Was it nationally?
Yeah.
Like whatever. Like he murdered him in cold blood. The guy's like, and he's just on a bloodlusted rampage. And it's just the great, like, the idea that like not everyone can be Steve Rogers, right? You get the serum, you're not pure of heart or something. Like if you're not actively trying to be a good person, then you're gonna mess up with all that power. And so John Walker, I thought at the end of Falcon Winter Soldier got away scot-free. So I was kind of happy that he was such a shit like character in this movie, where it's like, oh yeah, you're neglecting your child and your family like ran away from you. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I think he's a crybaby personally. I don't, and like I don't feel like I've seen enough of him to really be able to like relate to his character. And I feel like that's kind of a problem that I have with this movie, right? Like a lot of these people are like the afterthought of the movie that they're in, like Ghost. Like we saw her, like Cierra, you said you didn't remember Ghost.
Yeah.
Understand? You and a lot of other people, so it's just like the fact that they're there now, and I don't know, like even Taskmaster didn't get like the greatest debut, and I guess that it's not going to get much better now, so go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say about Taskmaster. I mean, we could hit this big spoiler. this whole episode we're able to talk spoilers. I just didn't want to like start it off with huge things, and I do want to save the asterisk for later. But we do get like there's this whole marketing campaign that include Taskmaster in all the marketing, but then on like certain shots, Taskmaster wouldn't be there, and they edited her into shots, and then you would see the other shot and it'd be like she wasn't there. And
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, like people were like, "Oh, she dies then in the beginning. She has because you see in the trailer like she's in that beginning like vault scene."
Yeah.
And she doesn't appear after that.
So, like, it was so surprising to me because, like, I don't watch trailers, so I didn't have any idea what this movie was going to be about. So the scene left me feeling confused because, like, they're all fighting, and I'm like, is that Taskmaster? Like, trying to figure it out in my mind. I'm like, and then she takes the helmet off, and I'm like, okay, it is Taskmaster. And then they shoot her in the head, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on, dog? Like, there's no shot. They just killed off Taskmaster. So like I'm waiting for it to be like an illusion or like some type of like Taskmaster dummy bot that exists for some reason to come in, because like I just can't for the life of me understand why they would just write this character off without doing anything with them. That I don't get it.
Yeah.
And I hope they didn't want us to feel sorry for her because I didn't feel anything.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what I really hope. I really hope that this isn't Marvel like trying to redo things and like, you know, trying to like succumb to like the bullies on the internet. And this is like an attempt to recast Taskmaster as a man because people were upset that Taskmaster was a woman. If they do that, they're a bunch of cowards. And I lose a lot of respect for Marvel because like other than that, I can't understand why they would get rid of Taskmaster. It's such a popular character.
Why get rid of Taskmaster or include Taskmaster just to get rid of her is kind of a weird thing. Like you didn't have to, she didn't factor into anything. You just had to, like if you didn't include her and you, instead of a 4-way, everybody's going after the other person in like a weird, funny, cartoonish circle, like it was 3, you could have just done that like fight scene almost better because like with the square, the diagonals don't care anything about the diagonals. But like with a triangle, they're getting away from one and going towards another. So like a triangle is almost like stronger, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was so weird the way they handled Taskmaster because they show Olga Kurylenko her face and she's like, "I'm not here for you," and like it opens up. She's like, "I'm not here for you." Closes back
that
up,
moment.
And like she dies. That's the only time she speaks. You see her face, but her name is in the credits. She was on the red carpet. Like,
I don't get that. I don't. And you're a big comic book person. Is Taskmaster even a Black Widow villain?
No, kind of. Like Taskmaster pops in a lot for like Shield related things. Pops in for Deadpool most recently, but Taskmaster just goes where the money is. And so what's funny is that when a movie adapts a character but changes their race, changes their sex, changes whatever, suddenly they have a bunch of fans. And it's the weirdest thing. Like people are like, Taskmaster should be a guy. It should be Tony Masters, which is his like alias or like real name. And it's like, you didn't care 2 shits about Taskmaster. You just thought it was cool that a guy with a skull on his face was like doing flips and stuff, which you get with this character. Why can't it? Oh, it's like, oh, it's because there's a girl on the inside. But like, it didn't matter. It doesn't matter. Not really, you know? Or same thing with Silver Surfer being a girl.
Yeah.
Like, Silver Surfer is female. Sorry, excuse me. Silver Surfer is female in the new Fantastic Four movie, and people are like, no, we want the male one. It's like, if the powers are the same, the motivation's the same, the personality is the same, especially because Silver Surfer doesn't have the strongest personality. He's just kind of like Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Then, like, what is the point? It's really just metallic boobies.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only difference.
Yeah, I feel like I was talking about that on TikTok one day, and you know, like the internet discourse around Marvel stuff gets so weird. But somebody in my comment section made a really good point. They were like, unless he's using his dick to fly the Silver Surfer board, like, why does it matter?
Yeah.
You know, like, why can't it be a woman? So it's like, yeah, why do you care? Yeah.
It's so weird.
And I haven't watched the Fantastic Four movies in a while, so I don't even remember this character, honestly. So this is gonna be new for me.
Yeah. So I won't spoil anything, but like, you know, the Fantastic Four movie, like, I don't know, people are gonna do that and complain and whatever, but it's just weird the way they handled Taskmaster in this for full billing for the actress. Like, she's on like all the posters, like her name is there, even Taskmaster as a character is there, but they could have just like had never opened up the face mask and not had Olga Kurylenko in it.
Yeah, and it could have been anybody. I mean, you Cierra, I'm sure you remember this. This might be a quote for you, Dimithri. But remember, You Got Served, and how like Chris Brown was in all of the marketing for You Got Served, and then like Chris Brown's in this dance movie. Come check out this dance movie. Chris Brown's gonna be in it. It's like the mid 2000s. Everybody's freaking out, and he dies in like the first 10-15 minutes of the movie.
Crazy. What is that? Celebrity endorsement, right?
Yeah. That's what this felt like.
They do that a lot in movies though, right? Like even the first time they ever did it was Hitchcock's Psycho. And they brought in the girl who dies in the beginning of Psycho is like a famous actress at the time. So they build her up with her own motivation. She takes the briefcase. She like steals a briefcase or something. Like she goes to this like motel, and then that's where she gets murdered in the shower. And then it picks up the story with the new actress. And they spoofed that kind of in a way with Scream, where Drew Barrymore is in the beginning of Scream, and you think she's going to be a continuous person, and then they kill her in the beginning of Scream, mostly because Scream is satirizing previous horror stuff anyway, with the tropes. I still don't get what they were doing with this. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. What was your guys? Okay, I mean, we could start off in the beginning. Do you guys like the way it starts off? I'm trying to remember how it starts. Oh, basically every character in this movie has depression. So I guess that's like the way it starts off. But
it's
Yelena's
like
what's that?
So it's like the real world.
It is. Because this world can't be that much better than our world. If I mean, is it better? I don't know. But Yelena's at the top of the building and like flies off and like does her whole scene. With the lab and the beating up of the people and whatnot. Like, were you guys hooked on the movie from then, or did you still need selling? Like watching it.
I think I was kind of in the middle because I think they showed a clip of her falling off the building and before the movie came out, so I kind of knew what was going to happen then. But I think I was in between.
I don't think I was so, but like I wasn't a big Yelena person before this movie. Like I just didn't really care. So like this movie job for me was to make me care about these characters, and I think it did. I think like maybe, man, that's a good question. Like at what point did I really feel like I was invested in the story and the characters? And damn, like I don't think I was until Alexi pulled up in that limo, man. Damn.
I think I'm trying to think of when I was sold with the characters. Like I like the fight scene in the vault, but I think when the characters had to climb up the elevator shaft interlocked, I think that might have been what like sold me as like, oh, this is a different type of movie. For better or for worse. Like it was almost slow at a point where it's just like, get to it, get out of the vault. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
But we got more character moments in this movie than we've like ever gotten in a Marvel movie. Like this was very character focused.
Yeah.
What was the last? Is that a dog?
Yeah, it's my
Yeah,
dog. I'm
cool,
sorry.
cool. Nah, that's cool. What was the last Marvel movie that you really were invested in?
Man, that's a great question. Let's pull up the list
You
here.
gotta look it up. Yeah. Because I have the flaw of just being invested in like every Marvel movie, so it really just like it's to like what degree, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you mean like invested, you mean like you can watch it like over and over again?
I guess
Or
that hit you like I don't know, it's hard to describe like that you really cared about.
Oh
That
man.
made you care, that you went in caring and it kept you caring, but like emotionally invested in, you know?
okay, I'm not gonna say stuff that recently came out, but I'm gonna
Is
go
it because
further
it didn't
back.
hit that mark for you?
I mean, it did, but not. But I'm gonna go more on. I'm so in love with this movie that I'm able to watch it at least like 10 times in a day or something.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say Captain America: Civil War.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
that's a rewatchable movie. There's a lot of movies as it's starting to ramp up towards the end of like phase 3 that like really rewatchable. By the way, this movie Thunderbolts marks the end of phase 5. That's what I was told.
oh,
Oh
oh,
wow.
right. Already, huh? Not a great phase, if that's the case.
I
Uh,
mean,
So
I would,
wait,
yeah.
Fantastic Four is the start of Phase 6?
Yeah, because it's also
Wow.
moving us towards this sort of multiversal collapse, right? So the
yeah.
end
Oh.
the end I think of phase 4 is supposed to be Wakanda forever.
Yeah.
That's the end of phase
So,
4 and then phase
so phase
5
5 is Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Guardians 3, The
Love and Thunder.
Marvels, yeah, Love and Thunder, and then Deadpool and Wolverine, and then Brave New World.
Oh.
Is that phase 5?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I guess to answer your question, the last one that I watched that I was like, you know what, this was a very good movie. I'm glad I came and watched this. Was probably Guardians 3.
Yeah.
It made me feel something. I was like, you know what, this is, it's a solid movie. Made me feel a little emotional, and I was like, hey, this is like the traditional Marvel experience again. That was like the only movie from this phase that I feel like I watched, and I was like, hell yeah, Marvel. I'm glad I came to the theaters and watched this. But everything else was, I don't know.
So would you say this is the best Thunderbolts is the best movie since Guardians 3?
Yeah, yeah, and oh man, it's so weird how movies work, man. Because like I think that I would give Guardians 3 better than a 7.5, but I think Thunderbolts is the better movie. How does that work? That doesn't make sense.
Cuz enjoyability factors in, right? Like
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna be honest. I love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I've only seen it once. It was in theaters.
Same.
I cried. The last half of the movie, I was crying. So for me, I can't go back and watch bits and pieces of that movie because I just can't deal with it. But it seems bad. So I'm showing my mom most MCU movies. Like we're watching it together. And we just finished Infinity War. And like she's already watched not Quantumania, Ant-Man and the Wasp. So like
Mhm.
we watched that a while ago because she likes Paul Rudd. But I'm trying to get her to get to Endgame so we can kind of like boom, get past
Yeah.
that. Because I want her like she loves Black Panther, so I want to get her Wakanda Forever and whatnot. But I really want to get her to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 so that she hurts as much as I hurt, you know?
Yeah.
So like I want to make her cry, which means I gotta cry again because I gotta watch it again. So I'm trying not to watch it. I think after I see it a second time, I think I won't go back to Guardians 3. Like it's just that hard of a movie.
Yeah.
So it's like, is it enjoyable in a weird way? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't
But
rewatch it.
But I like that. If anything, like I could have used it's man, the darkness that Guardians 3 had, I feel like Thunderbolts could have had that. And I would have really appreciated because Guardians 3 felt heavy. And this movie feels like it should have felt a lot heavier. We're dealing with all of these depressed reject characters that have been through all of these like, extremely traumatic things. Like Bob was on meth. That's that's dark.
To be fair, it's treated as a joke.
And I'm like, you see, and that's honestly, that's something I did not care for in this movie. And maybe that's like because I have people in my family that struggle with addiction, but I'm like, dude, they showed him as like the pizza guy that was like spinning the sign or whatever as his like meth thing. But like, dude, that takes you to a dark place, and like it isolates you from your family and your friends. And like Bob being the void makes sense if he was a drug addict in that capacity, because meth, I couldn't even imagine the struggles that you're going through. But like that doesn't seem like something that should have been a joke, man. And if I was somebody that struggled with addiction, I'd be like, oh, this is what Marvel thinks about me, huh?
I mean, drug portrayal in media is consistently portrayed as like it's either a joke or a lack of morals, or just like pull yourself up by your bootstraps sort of thing. It's interesting that for a movie that tackled depression and maybe bipolar disorder, Bob has I think he has bipolar disorder in the comics. Like, it doesn't seem like he can get away in the movie from his like mania and his depression, right? Like, I feel like that's what they're going for. But it also treats like his going through Southeast Asia and on drugs as sort of like he's just a wanderer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it felt more like a stoner than a meth addict.
Yeah. It's kind of weird the way, because everybody's depressed in this movie.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. But I think it's interesting that they didn't go down the route of showing like experimentation. Like they didn't show any experimentation on Bob.
Yeah. Or like Ghost, really. Like the only person whose past trauma they really dove into was Yelena's. And even then it was just kind of like that one recurring thing. Whereas like I feel like everybody's trauma needed to get dove or whatever into.
Yeah.
And like we didn't really see I mean, like, goddamn, like Bucky was working with Nazis. Like he got recruited for Hydra. Like I'm sure he killed Tony Stark's parents.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a bunch of cool things that we could have, like, whenever they like, spoiler, but like when they go into the house at the end, whenever they go into like the void and everybody's confronting the really dark things in their past, we should have saw that. Like they shouldn't have just showed up at Bob's and been like, yeah, man, we went through some nasty things to get here. Like, nigga, I'm sure you did. It would have been cool to see.
Yeah.
Like John Walker, I feel the most about that way, because to me, like, he's just an angry white dude. And it's just
entitled.
Like, man, and like it's so hard. Like when you said it was hard to like him, it is, because they haven't really given me a reason to like him. And I'm like, okay, well now I know your wife don't like you either, and you don't take care of your kid, and you sassy. Why would I like you? Like they still haven't given me a reason. And then at the end, they do the thing that they did in Captain America and the Winter Soldier again. They're like, yeah, but he helped save the day, and now he's a good guy. It's like, all right.
They do something in the post-credit scene that we will get to, because I do want to talk about the post-credit scene. They do something with him that I'm just like, oh, okay. But the post-credit scene, so a couple of things. So the screening I went to, the director came out and he answered Q&As, but he was dead tired because it was the day after the red carpet. And so, like, I don't fault him for being so tired, but like, it was not the greatest Q&A. But he did mention that essentially the cut of this movie was the cut that he wanted, that there aren't deleted scenes. Like, he filmed what he wanted, and Marvel allowed him to film the movie he wanted to, right? For better or for worse, this was what he wanted. And then we also learned that the post-credit scene is directed not by him, but by the next movie that these characters are in, which I think is Doomsday. So I think it's a Russo brothers post-credit scene.
Oh yeah, I just saw that on Twitter.
So so Jake Schreier, I think, is the director. He didn't direct the post-credit scene. So, you know, at least the group scene. The Alexi scene, I don't know. But it was just, this movie was a weird one. Again, I liked it, but I also feel like the set pieces weren't dynamic enough to warrant me like watching this over and over. It's more like oh damn, Marvel went there. It's a good movie, but it's not a good like superhero movie.
Yeah.
How do you feel, Cierra?
Like how I was saying, like how there are some parts that drag with this movie being 2 hours. Like how you were saying, Ted, like we should have saw um what everyone was going through when they were in the void. So I feel like some of those minutes, instead of having, you know, a longer conversation when they were stuck inside of where they were stuck inside of, we could have seen something that happened with Bucky, maybe something that they didn't show us in previous movies. I would have loved to know more about Ghost because I didn't even where is Ghost from exactly?
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
You see, I don't even. I thought I remember her, but I guess not.
She has a different costume. She has that like gray costume with the hood with the eyes.
Yeah.
And like,
oh,
she's that character.
Oh.
She has a way better mask in this. That mask was pretty cool. I liked it. You know, I liked her costume in this.
Yeah. And then I would like to know more about her. And then other than that, they could have done more.
How did you guys feel that the final piece of the movie is resolved by like being like dreams and like mindscape and not like a Marvel Phase 3 type fight them out?
Man, I respect it because they're going against Sentry. So in my mind, I was so curious to see how they were going to wrap it up because you can't beat him. Though these people can't anyway. So I was like, there's either they all have to die or, you know, something has to happen, right? So I was really curious to see what that was going to be. I didn't want them to go the Naruto route of, well, you know, you and I are the same. So we shouldn't even be fighting if you think about it. I wasn't crazy about that, but at the end of the day, like what else could you have done? Right? Like it's really like try and relate to this guy and pray he doesn't kill us all. And that's that. So like I don't know, it's so easy to complain as a consumer. But when I put myself in like the shoes of a writer, I'm like, damn, bro, like what else could you really do with a character like this? And you have to have the character like this, and you have to show how strong he is. Because like you were saying, Marvel's kind of just been spinning its wheels for a while now. So you have to introduce a character like Sentry to move things forward and like be able to fight everything that's coming, like the Galactus type, celestial type, of threats and stuff. So
right,
it's like I guess they did it as good as they could have, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think, I applaud them for the bold direction of like the final part where it's like, they're not like slugging their way out of everything, right? But like, it would have been nice to see all the characters like the rooms they ended up in, like what's their biggest thing. And even if it just showed like a montage, like slow motion, 10 seconds for each room, we could just see like John Walker try to punch his way out of his whatever. Like, I don't know. But like just a quick like just that scene doesn't have to take long. It's like 20 seconds total of what would these characters' biggest regret be. But we didn't get that. It would have been cool and wouldn't have taken much time.
Man, what would it have been for Bucky is what I'm imagining, bro. I know that dude has done some sick shit.
Yeah. I don't...
And are they...
Yeah.
Wait, sorry, go ahead.
No, is it just one thing? Is the room just one moment? Because Bucky... Oof.
Like, with Bucky, like, I know, like, we've seen a lot of things in the movies, but is there anything, like, in the comics that they haven't showed in the movies yet?
I mean, they constantly, like, do their own thing. So, like...
okay.
Like, it's a different sort of setup for Bucky in the movie than it is in the show. Like, what is his biggest regret? I don't know, because he doesn't kill the Starks in the comics. He's just like so like, but he is consistently killing like leaders of other countries.
Like, I'm like he killed Black Panther dad.
Oh, in the movie, yeah, but he didn't do that in the you know in the comics, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they could have made up something, you know.
Yeah.
But like, what's John Walker's biggest regret is probably like letting his like friend die. I think like in Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Battlestar is his name. The like. It's I don't know. I don't know what everybody's thing was, but it would have been nice to show because they do just pop up and then that's it.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering how did they get there until I finally understood, but yeah, it would have been nice to see.
They had to have dropped in alone, beaten their respective rooms, and then met up with each other, and then gone to Yelena.
Because they kind of all got there at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So and it would have taken them at least, well, I mean, who has the most trauma? I don't know, but it would have taken them
Bucky,
a lot
probably,
more,
like...
a lot more time to get to that room.
Yeah, I'm like, how'd you know how to get there? Is my thing, because I'm like, she came into the void, immediately found Bob by going through her whole thing, because she started off in her area, and then she had the realization, because after it happened a few times over and over again. So I'm like, okay, did everybody else immediately have this same realization in the void, and then everybody was like, I need to go find Bob. Like, I feel like that scene could have been done better, and it was an extremely important scene because it's how we're wrapping up the movie. And I don't know, it felt like they just gave it to us, and they were like, here's the movie.
There were two characters that what were you saying, Cierra?
No, I was gonna say, if anything, that's probably the part of the movie that I feel like would be rushed. That feels rushed.
Yeah. There are two characters that I'm like, they are not smart enough to have figured out their own rooms. That is Alexi and John Walker. There's no way John Walker learned from his room and like got over whatever trauma he had. No, that guy would still be stuck there right now. Like, you tell me John Walker figured it out? That guy is dumb. Alexi at least is lovably dumb. But like,
man, that's a good point. Like, John Walker is like painfully oblivious and like not self-aware. So I don't think he would have been, from what they've shown me of his character, I don't think he would have been able to get through that room. I agree with you.
Whatever room he popped in, like even if the room was his wife and his kid come back and he has to say I'm sorry, you think that guy ever says I'm sorry? Has he ever said I'm sorry?
That's probably how he got through the room. They were showing him like his fault, and he was like, "Nah, it's not me," and just walked out.
And the room's like, "We give up." The room itself is like, "Let him go." Like, I can't keep up with this guy. I don't know. Like, that's and there's no deleted scenes. That's what the director said. He's like,
he put himself in a corner with that one. Even if I was I wouldn't say that as a director. I'd pull a Zack Snyder every time. I was like, well, you know, I got my own cut.
Zack Snyder. Let's just do a slow motion cut of everything. Here's a question that I'm very interested. When the Sentry is like popping people into their shadow, like dust self or whatever, like he just like makes them a smear on the wall. You guys think that he was killing them?
I did. I for sure did.
I was hoping he was.
Yeah.
That would have been something. Because when he saved the little girl and then she just disappeared, I gasped so loud.
Everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a powerful moment. Yeah. So I was hoping he was killing them all. And then he killed Elena, and I was like, okay, well, now nobody's dead. Yeah.
Because I saw her name on the chair for Doomsday.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been a bold move to kill Yelena and not have her do any more, right? Like, just kill her. Yeah. But I don't think that's the point of this. The one moment that really stood out to me, because I'm a sucker for these type of moments. This is something that I bring up other podcasts and whatnot. To me, it doesn't matter whether a character dies or comes back to life or whatever. It's like, what I want to see is like the reality of the moment where they think they're going to die, the effects it has on other people. The people in that moment who think it's true, I want to see the raw emotion, the reality of that, right? So like I bring up Peter Parker when he is disappearing in Infinity War. We know Spider-Man out of all the people are gonna come back. But the fact is like Peter Parker like begs Tony Stark to save him, and it hits me like hard.
Yeah.
You know? Like it doesn't mean that he has to actually die for the long term. A character who does die for the long term, Bruce Willis in Armageddon, when he pushes the button, that kills me every time. Cause like have you guys seen Armageddon?
No.
No? So to blow up the asteroid at the end, all the fail safes don't happen, so he has to like manually press the button. And he does, and then it like the camera like goes into his eye and he sees the vision of his like daughter, and then he sees like his daughter's wedding that has not happened yet. And like he sees like the wedding he'll never be there for, right? And it kills me every time. So it's like this. It's like, are they gonna die? Are they not gonna die? It doesn't really matter. But like the reality, Alexei, when Alexei screams for Yelena, hurts me.
Yeah.
Because as far as he knows, she's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I guess I just don't feel like I felt that.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't know. Maybe I was supposed to. And I don't know if it was him being the comedic character, or maybe it was knowing that Yelena wasn't actually dead. Because the point that you make is there for me as well, right? Like whenever Spider-Man is like fading away in Infinity War, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm in tears. Like I'm like, this is rough, or even when Rocket in Guardians 3 is like realizing that the dude taking care of him is like a piece of shit, or whenever I forget the name, but like the little otter dies in Guardians 3. I was like, bro, why? Like this is a character that I just met in that movie. So I don't know, like I feel like I should have felt more whenever Alexei was sad that Yelena was dying, but like maybe it's because I knew he was about to get her right back. I don't know.
Cierra, does it hit you? Like, did you feel that moment or no?
I mean, I did feel sad, but like you were just saying, like because I knew she wasn't going anywhere, I wasn't crying or anything.
Yeah. The little girl though, I thought it was dead.
That, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I thought she was done for.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen Toy Story 3, but there's that moment at the end of Toy Story 3. It makes me cry thinking about it. When they are heading on the conveyor belt towards the fire and all the toys hold hands thinking they're going to die in whatever way toys die in that universe. Like they think they're going to die and they hold hands and they wait for death.
Yeah.
I'm laughing of how sad it is in a Toy Story, Pixar, Disney movie. They hold hands and await the embrace of death together. And like it makes me cry every single time.
Yeah.
It's things like that. And like they don't die. Because that would be a bold move to make that happen, but like they don't. It still hits,
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of like things that we didn't cover in this movie There's the whole like Valentina and everything. Valentina Allegra Dufontaine.
Yeah. She's okay.
Like how we feeling about her?
I don't really feel like she's like an evil villain. She didn't really feel like not to compare it to Thanos, but she didn't feel like a Thanos to me.
Well, she's just an evil Nick Fury, right?
Yeah, like honestly, like she just felt like a Karen the whole movie.
Yeah.
That was her villain was just being like an evil white woman, and I was just like, oh,
that's what that is.
That's literally what it felt like. She was just a mean corporate white woman that's just like screwing people over to get her way to the top. And I'm just like, man, like I know a few ladies like this in my sales job, I'm just like I get it. Like I kind of struggled with her character the entire movie because I was like, man, she is annoying the hell out of me. And I'm ready for this character. Like, won't somebody just kill this lady already? But isn't that like the emotions he's supposed to trigger out of me?
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm supposed to dislike the villain. Like I'm a big wrestling fan. So, they got like heels and they have baby faces in wrestling. And it's like the heels are the bad guys and they're supposed to like intentionally do things to like trigger you. And I feel like that's what she was doing the entire movie. I'm like, bro, you are going out of your way to trigger my emotions right now. And like, I don't like this lady.
Yeah.
Cierra, did you feel the same way?
Mm-hmm. She was, she was. I don't like her.
Yeah. I think it's funny because they've teased her character at the ends of like a lot of series. She first appeared at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Then she appears at the end of because she grabs John Walker. Then she appears at the end of Black Widow where she grabs Yelena. She's a little bit in Wakanda Forever. She is, yeah, she's they always the token white guy in Wakanda Forever is in the original Black Panther. His ex-wife is her, Valentina.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah. He has his own plot for like whatever reason in that movie, and it's like, why do we did not need him, that character, or her at all in that movie.
Hey, they're lucky that they got in that movie before DEI cuts, because boy, oh boy.
I just feel like finally we get her in like a major role, and she doesn't do much. And I do feel kind of disappointed with this movie because the two villains, technically, it's her and it's like the Void / Bob, and neither of them get dealt with.
Yeah. I think a problem that I have with movies are resolutions that don't feel appropriate for the character, right? And that's like with Sinners. I don't know if you got the chance to go and see Sinners yet, but like at the end of Sinners, when
wait, Cierra, have you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I was about to, yeah, I didn't want to mess it up. But when Smoke is at the end and he's killing everybody, and he sees I forget her name, but he sees her sitting there with like their unborn baby, and she's like, yeah, put that cigarette out and you can come hold her and come to heaven with me and all this shit. I'm like, dude, this nigga is a murderer, a thief. He came to town and got half the city killed. I don't know if he's going to heaven. If I don't know. And I don't know if this guy that's been a bad guy his entire life and that is ending his life doing all these bad things deserves a happy ending. And that's how this felt. I'm like, she doesn't deserve a happy ending. And it doesn't make sense at the end that Yelena wouldn't just walk up, grab the microphone and be like, this bitch tried to get all of us killed. And then she created this super nigga that used to be on meth to be the strongest person ever. This woman's a problem, and y'all need to put her underneath the ocean where y'all put the rest of the bad guys. Like that, why wouldn't she do like she do? But she walks up instead and she's like, now you owe me.
That's what I thought she was going to do. I thought she was going to speak. Like it looked like on her face, it looked like she was going to speak.
Well,
yeah.
I think the whole point was that, well, first thing, the director knew, he was saying that he knew that nobody would like this team at the end, like, and so all those like articles that were like okay, spoiler alert, now it's like the final thing, that the asterisk means new Avengers. The director knew, and Marvel knew, that like we don't want these guys to be our Avengers. Like that's on purpose. Like these are the B Avengers. It says it on the thing, right? And it's like that's the whole like point, to like make us not want this. But I think at the end, Yelena agrees and doesn't fight it because she wanted to be an Avenger. So she's gonna take this B Squad Avengers regardless, right? Which I guess means not throwing Valentina under the bus, even though she deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
But why couldn't she have that anyway?
I think people needed something to believe in. I think it might have spoiled that I'm stretching here,
Yeah, because like that's my thing. I'm like, why couldn't Yelena just be like, hey, we actually came together as a group and saved the day under our own accord. This lady is evil as hell, tried to get all of us killed, and is a liability to this country and the entire world's safety. We should do something about her. And we're going to operate as a group now. And we'll call ourselves the Avenger or like whatever. Like, I feel like we still could have gotten there without them letting her make it. So I really like, I don't get why they did.
The only thing I can think of, Cierra, do you have an idea? Because I have an idea.
Oh, no.
No. the only thing I could think of, and this could have been solved with one line, at least just to show us that's the reason why. If Valentina goes down, Bob goes down with them. And Bob would have... Nobody knows that the Void is Bob. Nobody even knows Sentry is Bob. Like, Sentry never made a public appearance. The Void did. And, like, Bob gets taken down, and Yelena says she'll protect him, right? Like, from now on, you're with us. If Valentina goes down, Bob goes down with her. That's the only thing I can think of. And they could have put a piece of dialogue. Yelena could have been like, give me one... She could have been, this would be great. She would be like, give me one good reason why I'm going along with this. And then Valentina's like, Bob.
Yeah. Yep. You're right.
And
that one line would have helped. Yeah, that would have helped a lot.
Okay. It's like...
Wait, I have a question. So I know, they make up things for the movies, but in the comics, were they all together like this in the comics, or was it different in the comics?
So the Thunderbolts have an interesting story in the comics, and some people were bringing out that like this plays almost like a switcheroo of kind of what it was. So the Thunderbolts happens because the Avengers have disappeared. They've gone to another dimension, another world, and they've like disappeared. So this world has, like, the Marvel world has no Avengers. Then this random team of like heroes that nobody's known, they pop up and they're like, we're the Thunderbolts, we're Earth's mightiest heroes now. And they're solving all these things. They have a wide variety of powers and whatever, but nobody knows who these heroes are. And then the twist is all these heroes are ex-villains pretending to be heroes to win the public support. So like Baron Zemo is the leader of the Thunderbolts, and he goes by Citizen V, I think. And like there are other like villains from other people's past that are also like, they have a different code name, different costume. Nobody knows it's them. Then the Thunderbolts ends up realizing, not Baron Zemo, but I think the rest of the Thunderbolts realize they like being heroes, so they continue to be heroes, even I think after it's shown that they're villains. And so there's that Thunderbolts. Later, the Thunderbolts team gets retooled into like a Suicide Squad project. So Suicide Squad's DC, but like Marvel kind of makes it so that they're like prisoners that are part of a prison project trying to rehabilitate them through being a superhero team. Now in the comics, they're going to release a new #1, like a new start of Thunderbolts, which has Bucky, but it has like Wolverine's daughter and like a bunch of other people. So it really just depends. Like there's that corporate synergy. Point being is, in the Thunderbolts, they were like villains pretending to be heroes. And in this, they kind of have that. And then they become Avengers, right? So I don't know if that answered your question, but that's kind of like what it was in the comics. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Baron Zemo's not involved, which is fine with me. But that's the Thunderbolts. But at the end, we find out the Asterisk is New Avengers. Do you guys like that?
I was a little shook when I saw it. I was confused when I saw that title, but then, because throughout the whole movie, I'm trying to figure out what does the asterisk mean, and then it actually, I didn't find out what the asterisk mean until I came home, looked on Twitter, and someone was saying, because I still didn't understand it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You stayed for the end credits, right?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't even, and this might sound bad, didn't even realize there was an asterisk there. Did everybody was like, the asterisk makes sense. I was like, what the fuck are y'all talking about?
You're so confused.
What? Yeah, and then I was like, oh, okay. I think, man, and I guess I just have to wait and see how they're gonna spin this. But the final end credit scene with them seeing the Fantastic Four, spoiler, sorry y'all, but seeing the Fantastic Four spaceship coming through, where the hell have they been? And I guess now it's time to find that out, because the only thing that would make sense is that nobody knows who they are.
The Fantastic Four?
Yeah, nobody in this universe, nobody can know, and that means that they have to have been in some type of different dimension for the past, who knows how long, right? So I'm curious to see how that's about to happen, because, well, I guess we just have to wait on the movie. to see where they were this entire time, because that was my immediate thought. I'm like, okay, well, where the hell have they been?
Here's the thing. First things first is I knew the Asterisk was going to be like a team name change, but I thought that it was going to be more like the Asterisk is like Secret Avenger. There's a team called Secret Avengers that was like a Black Ops Avengers team where like I thought like, okay, these are going to be Secret Avengers, because I also wasn't sure whether the Avengers had a team going on this whole time, because in Shang-Chi, I think it was Shang-Chi. No. Well, Shang-Chi might have mentioned Avengers. Eternals was like, oh, I could like lead the Avengers or whatever. Like they mentioned something in Eternals where it's like, oh, is the team still going? But it only until this movie they're like, the team has not, like the Avengers have not been a team. And so we're living in a world without Avengers. So then I'm like, oh, well, I'm a little confused there. So I'm fine with the ending. The Fantastic Four are a different thing. Fantastic Four, because you didn't watch the trailer, Ted?
No, I haven't.
I mean, do you listen to people who watch the trailers? Like how cold turkey?
Right. So I go into it usually like completely cold, but like I don't know. I assume like I know the Fantastic Four and like I know their story for the most part, right? But I don't know if the trailer says literally like where they've been. So
I don't think they've been in the MCU at all. That's the whole point. So there's one of two theories.
Okay.
Well, based on the presumption that like what we see in the trailer, they're in like another universe. They're in a and it looks like retro but futuristic as well. So whether it takes place in the past in like a futuristic 60s or it takes place in a retro nowadays with a 60s aesthetic, I don't know. It's one of two theories. One is they're just that universe is Fantastic Four, and that's that. Or there's an idea, and I don't buy into this, that they were from the MCU, sent into space, they ended up in another universe, became the Fantastic Four there, and now they're coming back.
Yeah, that one kind of makes sense to me, because it's like otherwise, what happened to the Fantastic Four of this universe?
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess you could easily just say that like, hey, they went and became the Fantastic Four and then died.
Yeah.
You know, so now this universe doesn't have one. Yeah. That's the whole multiverse thing.
I don't like the multiverse.
It's just so like you can just do too much. At any given time, you can just say, yeah, but you know, they went to this universe. So
like, and the dumb fans out there, they do things like when Aunt May died, they were like, well, you could just get an Aunt May from another universe and bring her over. And it's like,
but like, why? Yeah. Or like even with Wanda and her kids, like Wanda losing her kids and being like, all right, well, I'm just going to another universe and find, you know, some more kids.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I'm just like, okay, well, if that's the case, anybody can just go do anything at any given time.
I don't like the multiverse. I've said it before. And I don't like the fact that the MCU is hinging a whole 3 phases leading up to us like a big multiversal thing. I'm not a big fan of that. But the Fantastic Four, we do know that at the end of the Fantastic Four movie, they must end up in this universe, according to the end of this.
Yeah. How do you think this all gets connected, right? I think that's where I'm disconnected with Marvel right now.
Yeah.
Because we're in so many different places. Like we have this going on with the Thunderbolts right now. Same time, like Sam Wilson is putting together his Avengers, right, from Brave New World. Yeah. So that has to happen. We're going to need 4 to 5 new people for that team as well. Yeah. Who's that going to be? The whole time, we also have Moon Knight in the MCU now. We have.
Wait, I'm sorry to cut you off, but is he supposed to be coming out? Is he supposed to be coming back?
Who? Moon Knight?
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know.
Yeah. You know, well, so and then we got like Ironheart. That show is about to come out now. So you know, there's so, and then like the Eternals. You know, like we haven't seen anything from that movie, and then Shang-Chi exists. Like there's so many different things happening. Where does it all combine? And like where, like, because like Infinity War, it was the build up to, okay, now we're all gonna fight Thanos. And how long did the build up to Phase 4 take? That was from like 2008 to like 2000 and
You mean 3? Because Phase 3 is the end of Endgame is the end of Phase 3.
That was okay. Yeah, so Phase 3.
Yeah.
So that lasted almost over like almost 2 decades, maybe like the span of like what 15 years, maybe.
Iron Man is 2010, and Endgame is to 2019.
2019. So
no, 2000. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to
somewhere around there because that was before COVID, right?
Yeah, yeah. Endgame was 2019. I know that for sure.
Endgame was 2019, and then Infinity War was what 2017.
I think so. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah,
so
and we get 2 movies in between. Infinity War I think was 20. Oh, it's 2018. Then we got Captain Marvel and Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then Endgame.
Yeah. So
and then Spider-Man Far From Home.
Okay, so Infinity War was 7 years or 8 years into MCU putting everything out. It was like Phase 3, and then that was like year 7. So right now we're in Phase 5, or I guess Phase 4 started off everything brand new, and we're how many years into that now?
I mean, Phase 4 started in Black Widow was the first movie back, so 2021.
Okay.
And Wakanda Forever was the end of that. That was 2022. So
yeah,
I mean, it was 2 years, but there was a lot of movies and a lot of TV shows in Phase 4.
Yeah, so I'm like, with everything that we've gotten right now, can you see us getting an Infinity War-esque project in 3 years, in 3 to 4 years? Like,
I mean, Doomsday that's the thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, Doomsday is supposed to be coming out when?
Next year. They're filming right now.
That's what I don't get. I'm like, how do we get to Doomsday from where we are right now? It just seems like such a big jump.
It's really just Fantastic Four, followed by Doomsday, and then Spider-Man, a new Spider-Man, and then Secret Wars.
Yeah, so I'm like, they've introduced a bunch of people, but they haven't brought a bunch of stuff together. And I feel like at this point, like when we were a few movies away from Infinity War, it felt like we were on the road to Thanos, and I could feel that it was getting closer and closer to a big threat getting here.
Yeah,
Doomsday, and maybe this is what Doomsday is supposed to feel like. Maybe it's supposed to feel like somebody's showing up and just flipping everything upside down, but everything already still feels upside down from being post Endgame. Like it still feels like we're still dealing with like post blip MCU.
I wish we were.
Yeah.
I don't know. As far as like movies are concerned, that's what's coming out before it. But then in Phase 6, if we're factoring in what actually factors in, it's Wonder Man. It's another season of Daredevil Born Again, and then it's Vision Quest. I mean, they have a couple of animated projects, like Eyes of Wakanda is animated, but I don't know whether it fits in. It might fit in. And then Marvel Zombies is animated in an alternate universe, so like that doesn't really matter. So it's hard to figure out, like, yeah, maybe Fantastic Four just leads us straight into Doomsday, which leads us straight into Secret Wars, and that is it. And I'm okay with that. Clean the slate. Let's bring in the mutants. Let's tell some brand new stories. The way I see the Avengers in this, I like the end scene of Thunderbolts. It made John Walker dumb. Like, they were just like, he's like, it was funny, but it was also like, John Walker wasn't like a quippy, dumb character. He was like, we're out of space. What was that? Like, we're running out of space so soon or something. It was that joke. It was funny. But is John Walker just the dumb jock character now?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess.
Well, if they're going to do that, I really hope that they make Thor how he was before, because I can't really stand like a comic relief Thor.
Which Thor do you not like, and which Thor do you like?
The Thor that I like is from the earlier movies. Well, because I really like Thor Ragnarok, but I would say I would prefer like the older Thors to the Thor Love and Thunder.
The Shakespearean sort of Thor.
He was just too funny for me. Yeah. He was just too funny. But now, I don't know. He needs to get back more serious. for me.
I like him in Infinity War and Endgame because he's not.
Oh yeah, he was. Oh yeah, that's good.
He's like a mix between Ragnarok and like people like Thor. Like they give him some gravitas, but at the same time, he is kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
Yeah.
But what they had in Thor: Love and Thunder, that was just too much.
Yeah, and that's when he should have been his saddest. I'm like, in Love and Thunder, he lost everything. I'm like, why? But yeah.
Yeah. That's also the reason why I'm at least glad with Thunderbolts. The end of it, it just seems like they chose a direction. Now we're moving forward, because like there were so many different ways. Like everything was just getting set up, like left on hold. You know.
Yeah, I would say this, man. Like if this is like how they're moving forward, from Florence Pugh's performance in this movie, I think I would be fine with her like having the ball and running with it. Like if she was the quarterback moving forward, the way that Chris Evans kind of was like the centerpiece, and then they find somebody to be like her, Tony Stark, and team her up with them. And if that's what we're running the MCU through for like the next couple of years, man, I think she might be able to do it.
Yeah.
And I haven't felt that way about anybody. So like not even, I hate to say especially not Anthony Mackie.
Really?
You know? Okay. So yeah, so like I watched Brave New World and I was like,
you didn't like Brave New World?
I thought it was fine. But whenever I watched it, I was like, it didn't feel like a Captain America movie. It felt like a Falcon movie. And I feel like I would have, I don't know. I feel like maybe, and you know, they say expectations are like the devil. Maybe my expectations going into the movie were a little bit too much, but it felt like that was the movie they were supposed to make him be Captain America. And he still doesn't feel like Captain America to me. And that's so interesting because like his whole character's premise is like, it's how do I pick up the mantle from Chris Evans? Or like, how do I pick up from Steve Rogers? And like, I feel like they're still not letting him do that fully.
Yeah, I could see that. Because he still doubts himself.
Yeah. And maybe, and like about Brave New World is like, I felt that way about it, but I also feel like that was his first Captain America movie. And after Steve Rogers or Evans' first Captain America movie, it's kind of the same thing, right? So like it takes 3 movies to like tell his story. So maybe we get 2 more and then, you know, it gets better. So
I thought there was too much going on with Brave New World, that they were like, bring in Red Hulk, bring in the leader, bring in the Serpent Society, and it was just like, we're taking it off of Anthony Mackie, off of Sam Wilson. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I liked Sam Wilson in that. Like I felt like he was Captain America in his soul, and like he was moving forward. It was a little tough to go to Brave New World and have it kind of fall apart in that way.
Oh, I can see that. Because like with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that should have been like his first Captain America movie. And this movie should have been his second. And then the third would hopefully be like his biggest break.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah.
There's also a problem that like we don't have a proper Avengers movie at all in phase 4, 5, or 6, other than like Doomsday and Secret Wars, but that's like a whole Marvel Universe movie. Like I don't consider them Avengers movies. Just like Infinity War and Endgame aren't really Avengers movies. They're just like full MCU movies.
Yeah.
And Captain America Civil War was an Avengers movie, you know? Like it's kind of like that. So with this, we didn't get a proper Avengers movie ever.
Yeah, good point. Like can we have I guess it does feel weird having Doomsday with like no Civil War to build up to it.
I think it is going to be a Civil War in it. For example, like I think this is the new Avengers. I think Sam Wilson has his team, and they're going to come to the same mission in Doomsday. And they're going to be like, we're the Avengers. We're the Avengers. And like they kind of did that in the comics. Tony Stark had a team called Mighty Avengers, and Captain America had the New Avengers, and they were kind of like at odds. I think that's what's going to happen with this. But I don't know.
Yeah.
This team's severely underpowered.
Yeah, the Sentry is carrying them a lot, and he's extremely unstable. So
they can't have him change. Remember, like he can't access his powers. I think he's gonna die eventually. I think he's going to do one change, to beat the bad guy and either lose and die or win and die, and that's it.
Yeah, because if that doesn't happen, then you get into like the Superman problem, which is like you have a character that's too strong.
He's even stronger than Superman.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's just like this is a character that is broken. And I'm like, I remember, man, I used to go down those like YouTube rabbit holes all the time of like, how strong is this character and who can this character beat? And I just vividly remember Sentry being one of like those characters where it's like, yeah, like he's as powerful as he needs to be to beat any situation, basically. Like it's like beyonder level fights. And if we're fighting those type of fights already, like how do you even tell that story?
Yeah.
Well, wait, I have a question. Is he stronger than the Scarlet Witch?
Like, but what in what though?
And I
guess
guess
that's where it gets tricky, right? Because like Scarlet Witch can be like, you don't exist anymore, and then he doesn't exist anymore, right?
Unless you say he's impervious to magic, but like in the comics, he takes Ares, the Greek god of war, and rips him in half. Like he kills a Greek god, right? So like he also like kills Carnage. He like Sentry is the guy in the comics that like you call out very specifically to do like a task, but you're afraid of him turning into the void.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that keeps him from just being this like Superman type character that can do whatever he wants. Also, I mean, I'm a big fan of Superman, so I am very much looking forward to the Superman movie. Like Superman, his whole point isn't even his powers, it's like how he inspires other people. The Sentry doesn't have that. So like the Sentry's just a powerhouse, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. As we close up this episode, do you guys have any final thoughts about the movies or where we hope that it's going? Because we kind of talked about that, but like any expectations going forward? Does it give you more hope in the MCU that like we're finally moving forward, or were they forced to move forward because we only got 3 movies left for the end of the phase?
But like, okay, so when I hear people say that, like, like when people say like the MCU is back or something like that, like I don't really feel like it really left anywhere.
Yeah.
So with this movie, I know people were saying like this is the best MCU movie in a while. I mean, yeah, it's great, but I mean, I still feel like it's just another MCU movie that I really enjoy.
Yeah. I think the cohesiveness, feeling like the MCU is a lived-in world, was kind of lacking because everybody was off just kind of doing their own thing, and you like it was just spinning its wheels and just kind of figuring it out, and now they're ready to move forward. I'm happy about that.
Yeah. I think this movie gave me a lot of hope, and like I've never been a Marvel is dead, Marvel, the MCU is trash. Now, like there's projects that I haven't liked, but there are projects that I think have been really good. That I think and like I think the biggest thing with the MCU is always going to be characters, and I think that this movie did what they did best in the first 3 phases, which is make us care about the characters again, and like. Like people always say that like, and I wasn't big into comics at all until these movies started getting made. Like growing up, I wasn't watching or like reading comic books and watching like comic TV shows and stuff like that. So when the first Iron Man movie came out, that was my introduction to a lot of these characters. So I inherently thought that Iron Man and Captain America and Thor were like these A-list characters. And then everybody is like, no, we didn't care about them at all. At all, so like I think that their ability to make us all care about an Iron Man, Captain America type character, I think that's what Marvel does best. And now I feel like they're doing that again with these characters. Like watching the Thunderbolts, I was like, man, I don't really care about Yelena. Like why would I care about this movie? And now I care to see what happens with the Thunderbolts, the B-Vengers, or whatever they call themselves moving forward, because this movie made me care. Right. And like, just like the same way that I care about Wanda and Vision, because WandaVision made me care about them. Right. And, the same reason that I don't give a damn about anything going on with Nick Fury, because Secret Invasion is just like, I was like, I don't care anymore, So I guess, like this movie gave me a lot of hope.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just so happens to be kind of moving us towards phase 6 and kind of closing things up. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for Fantastic Four because it's going to be something different. And then seeing what happens there, I think there's a lot they're not showing us with Fantastic Four. Like
I appreciate that, though.
I think the trailer is probably the
Yeah.
only like first 30 minutes of the movie. Like I'm guessing. I'm looking at it and I'm like,
I hope it is.
I think there's something huge that's happening, and I don't know what it is.
'Cause that's the thing that I hate about Marvel, because when they show their trailers, they show too much. So I only end up watching at least one or two. I
Yeah.
never watch any of them that get closer, because as they get closer to the movie coming out, they want to show more of the movie.
They used to not do that. Marvel used to be classically like they would not show stuff from their third act. Like or they would purposely edit it. Like Infinity War, Endgame's trailer didn't show anything. I don't think Endgame literally showed. I don't think they showed any scenes.
They need to go back to that.
Yeah, but like then, yeah, sure. Then they started like doing more and more and more, and it's like, oh, like Wakanda Forever, I think showed too much.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 showed too much in the trailer. Like they were showing Act 3 stuff for sure, but here's hoping that everything is going to be good going forward. San Diego Comic-Con is at the same weekend as Fantastic Four, and so everybody goes and sees it at the theater that's close by. So that's what I'm going to do.
That's going to be crazy.
Yeah,
enjoy that experience.
Deadpool Wolverine was last year, the same weekend of San Diego Comic-Con, and the weekend before, or the year before it was Barbenheimer.
Wow.
And so I saw all those movies at the theater that's like closest to it. It was cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Before we get going, I want to thank you both so much for coming on this episode and talking about Thunderbolts, Asterisk, whatnot. Do you vocalize Asterisk? I don't know. But before we get going, Ted, where can we find you? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
Ted the Toy Collector on everything, whether it's TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. You can find me on there. TikTok is where I'm the most popular. YouTube, I need to show a little bit more love. But if you want to check me out anywhere, if you don't go anywhere else to support me, pull up to my Twitch page, Ted the Toy Collector on Twitch. I host a role-play wrestling league. If you like wrestling, if you play WWE 2K25, you need to pull up and join my WWE league. It's so much fun. It's the closest you can get to being a wrestler in real life. Create your character on the game, pull up to our league, pretend to be the character, actually go against people that are also playing WWE. It's great. You'll have a great time. Come join us, Ted the Toy Collector on Twitch.
I don't even follow WWE, but that sounds fun.
It is, man.
All right. Cool. Cierra, where can people find you? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
So I'm Quirky Kristen on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Like you, Ted, I need to show YouTube some more love. I only post everything that I post on TikTok. I post it on Instagram and YouTube. I need to be more active on there. As for anything coming up, nothing as of right now, but I plan on making some more videos because I do have some stuff in the mail because I'm not only a Marvel fan, I like to call myself an ultimate fan. Like I obsessed with lots of different things. So right now, when I get my package, I have something in the mail coming from 1986, 7, and 8. It's a magazine that I want to show off, maybe do like a little flip through and stuff like that. So that's what I have.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, both of you, I would love to have you guys back on another episode of something, because I try to do too much. Try to do too many different shows, but I would love to have you guys back. Because there's a lot of crazy movies coming out this summer. Like literally every weekend is going to be something as we pick up. So, got that a little bit too. But thank you both of you so much for coming on this show, talking about Thunderbolts with me and whoever else was watching or listening. If you were watching us live, you were watching us on youtube.com/The Keeg Show or twitch.tv/The Keeg Show, or maybe you were listening to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, or SoundCloud. However you guys were watching or listening to us, let us know. Like, comment, subscribe, follow Ted, follow Cierra. If you are interested in Thunderbolts and Marvel and comics in general, go to comicshoplocator.com, find a comic shop near you, support your local comic shops. There's a new Thunderbolt series, comic series coming out, I think in a month or so. I think it's called The New Thunderbolts #1 or whatever. But Bucky is in it, X-23 is in it. There's a lot of characters that you know from the movies that even if you don't read comics, it might be an easy way to jump into comics is like through this new Thunderbolts series that's coming out. I can't recommend comic books enough, so you know. We do a lot of shows here on the Keeg. Comic Talk is one of ours that we do solely for comic books that come out every single week. So if you want to keep up with comic books, check out Comic Talk. It's every Thursday. The Keeg Talks is, you know, roughly every weekend. We're also doing an Andor after show as we see Andor do its final season.
Nice.
So Andor is amazing. I love Andor so much.
Yeah, man. The conversation for another day.
Oof. But thank you guys so much for being on here. Thank you to everybody out there for watching. Once again, I am your host, Dimithri Perera, and this has been the Keeg Talks Thunderbolts. I'll see you guys next time.
Super fast, gotta beat the boss and get the loot, cause it's the King, and we got geek news.